Well, hello, Glue Troopers, and welcome back to the TARDIS. Actually got some model building done today. Made a lot of progress on the flying submarine. Uh, Usual kind of hiccups you would expect. Some of the, I used that blue tape to, carpenter's tape to do the marking off. I'm just going to use the natural color and just paint the trim. Of course, some of it seeped through, but had a little cleanup. But I'd used acrylic, so that wasn't too tough. I'm doing this as sort of a casual build. I did paint the interior and everything fully detailed, but had to use enamels, which means, it took forever for them to harden. So that slowed things up. And I used acrylics on the spider web structure that goes inside. And by the way, I didn't follow the instructions on this because they have you doing the circular part on the elbows and then putting the crown in last. And I didn't think that was going to work very well, so they clipped to the crown fairly well, and I was able to do that first and then put the other pieces in. What I missed was those are number specific, both the L pieces and the crown pieces. I thought they were uniform, they're not, so I had to do a little changing around. But I got it in there and got it in the submarine. Everything went fine till I tried to put the walls on, and the walls really do go up like a house of cards. I mean, you're leaning them against each other, and the fit's okay, but it's typical, model of that era. There's going to be a little getting everything just right, and when you're trying to build all these parts that build on other parts, and things get just a little skewed, and it's a little tedious. So I've just got the front three pieces. Sometimes it's hard to find a place where you can get really good purchase for the cement. Along the bottom's pretty good, but you figure, okay, it feels like it's pretty firm. I can add another piece, and while you're mixing around, you knock another piece out or something, because it turns out those circular rings are just in their butt joint sort of style, and you're kind of like, yeah. And if half a while, I figured, just leave it alone. I'm just going to let those three pieces harden. I'll tack the rest of them on tomorrow, and once they're all firmly in place, then I'll put those last pieces of the top ring back in and go from there. But it's pretty much all painted now, and I just got to get it together. Not a bad kit so far. Just they did what they could. I think if I was designing the kit, it might have been easier just to make a solid, the inner crown and a solid ring, and then put all the old parts on it. But that would have, I'm sure they had their reasons for doing it the way they did. It probably would have been difficult to mold. So since I had some time to kill, I decided to go ahead and get started on the Jupiter from the Lost in Space movie. And I looked at it, and I watched the video by, I think it's Right On Replicas or something. I'll see if I can find it, link it below. He does a build of it. And gotta be honest, I wasn't a big fan of the movie, although it was nice to see Billy Mummy got some work thrown his way. But I decided I'm just gonna make this one, paint it up the way I like it, kind of do my own paint scheme on it. I mean, it'll still be marked up and look like the one from the show. I'm just gonna I'm going to weather it, beat up the bottom a lot, because the thing was always, crash landing, and I'm not going to try to get that factory new look. I'm going to make it look like a ship that's been mistreated and had patches and repairs and everything on it, have some fun with it. And the wife says, even though she wasn't, we were both, neither one of us were terribly thrilled with the movie, but she's like, sci-fi, if you got room on the sci-fi shelf, it can go there. That's great. We watched a couple episodes of UFO today, and that's how she traps me in to come watch TV with her. She puts on something she knows I can't turn away from. And I had that Interceptor up on the shelf, the Bondi kit, and it's really, and of course it has a missile fires, but spring broke after about 2 tries. That's okay, I won't lose a missile. Speaking of losing things, I've been having a lot of trouble with the spray gun, just keeping it clean and everything. And I followed all the instructions on how you're supposed to clean, but it just always seems like they're stuff gets in there. I find it's easier to store the things disassembled, or at least pull the needle out of it, because that seems to be the part that gunks up the most. And I was getting back pressure, and bubbles were occurring in the bucket, and I sealed everything up, and I was still having trouble getting I think the needle valve may be going, because there's always some air blowing through no matter what I do. But I was trying to get it clean, and I had taken it apart and put it back together so many times I was starting to get a little careless about it. At first you're real careful, the second time, third time, fourth time, like, argh, and I got a shot of air, and the little funnel tip went flying off, and it ping. So I wound up having to disassemble one corner of the TARDIS to find this tiny little part, but I did find it, and I tidied up that corner of the shed. So there was that. Anyway, that's the building for the day. I am working on the video for Faller And I'm trying to get the information to do one on Mach 2. So I haven't forgotten about doing the history videos. I know I keep saying I'm going to get to it, I'm going to get to it. Today I was, of course, on long haul reserve, so I sit around with the phone waiting for it to ring for...
2 sections, scramble!
But they didn't call me. But of course, it's a 24-hour thing, so as we speak, I'm at work. So if they don't use me, maybe I can get these 2 models done over the next couple of days. And that's pretty much where we're at with the model building. I did try that little paint shaker that a glue trooper sent me, and unfortunately, now I put a really old, I mean ancient, probably more than I should have asked of it, little bit of the old Tester's enamel in there and let it go for about 10 minutes, came back, and it hadn't really done much. Although it agitated and got the fluids loose, it didn't mix them at all. But I mean, they literally been sitting on a shelf probably for a couple of decades. But I used a little drill type that I have, and it got it mixed up, stirred up pretty quick. So, you know, just on this particular instance, the little drill type did work better than the shaker type. I know a lot of people ask what kind they should get for an agitator. And, of course, the shaker doesn't make a mess because you do it with the lid on it. You got to be careful when you're doing the drill type, because more than once I've repainted, there are splotches all over this place that look like Freddy Krueger had gone after the paint rack. So there was that. And that is all we have. I won't keep any longer because that's all I have to report. Guys, take care of yourselves. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. And as always, model on.